Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay and welcome to the Global Collaboration Summit. I've put together this little video in support of the ISTE Global Collaboration PLN and to support the summit. And I've also put together a little package of resources to share more about what I do and who I am. But basically, look, I'm a global educator, I'm a global collaborator, I was on the ISTE board. I was also part of the team that started the Global Collaboration PLN at ISTE a few years ago, and now of course colleagues and friends have just really started to take it places, and it's wonderful to see. I've been collaborating globally for over 20 years. When the internet first started, that was where my excitement and engagement started. But I've also worked in 6 different countries, encouraging students and teachers to use digital technologies for collaborative learning. I run an organisation called Flat Connections, through which I design and implement online global collaborative projects for K-12 schools, and I also design and offer online professional learning for educators. So at this point I work at the university level and also work with K-12 educators through online global collaborative implementations. Very recently I finished my PhD research, and of course it was based on online global collaborative educators and this elusive thing called pedagogical change. So I came to my research agenda through my practical work and the need to understand what was happening in the classroom when educators collaborated globally. Why were they doing it? How were they doing it? And what were the outcomes? And what could we learn from these outcomes that we could then share with other educators to see this fostered and implemented further? Because personally, I knew from my own global collaborative experiences for 30 years, well, 30 years in the K-12 classroom, but probably 15 or so as a global collaborative educator, I could see that my practice had changed. I knew my colleagues' practices had changed. I knew we were impacting teaching and learning in remarkable and amazing and positive ways. But what was it? What was it that I was doing? What was it that other people were doing? And how could we understand this at a deeper level to be able to share it? So look, this presentation does share some of my research and encourages you to explore, reach out, talk to people in your school, talk to people beyond your school, and work out how you can also implement online global collaborative learning. Let's get started. So what I want to share with you now is an outcome from my research, which is the global collaborator mindset. Now, the global collaborator mindset challenges the belief that technology integration and access to online networks means that educators are naturally global and collaborative. So, educators haven't really changed their mindset since the advent of online digital learning. Global collaboration isn't included in what normally happens in classrooms, and that has bothered me for many years. And talking to educators, they tell me, well, if you have the mindset, you can collaborate globally. Well, what is this mindset? And I think my research has actually defined this to be something tangible, identified, labelled, tangible. It can be cultivated and learned. So let me tell you more about the mindset. The goal of the global collaborator mindset is to motivate educators to open their minds to new possibilities in order to introduce new ways of thinking, believing and doing. Now, from my research, I've come up with 4 attributes of the global collaborator mindset. Now, there may be more, but at the moment I'm working with 4, and these are connection, openness, innovation and autonomy. Let's take a closer look at these. So, connection. An educator who is connected designs and manages an online presence, builds a personal learning network, joins and leverages local and global professional learning communities. An educator who is connected develops virtual working relationships with multiple stakeholders and applies synchronous and asynchronous communication modes. They also share their own culture and are curious and empathetic with new cultures. They also negotiate connections with significant others to develop authentic audiences and partnerships for collaboration. Openness. An educator who is open leverages available digital technologies to create and share fluently online. They implement new ideas for teaching and learning with the belief that education is not just about content knowledge. They adopt a beyond the textbook stance where learning can happen anywhere, anytime, with and from others. An educator who is open flattens the learning so teachers and students learn together and with others beyond the classroom. They integrate new pedagogical practices and express empathy, respect, and are receptive to other ways of knowing. Autonomy. An educator who is autonomous assumes pedagogical independence and digital freedom. They plan classroom learning independently of and in harmony with other educators. They apply a flexible and agile approach with curriculum, classroom dynamics, and global partnerships. They demonstrate resilience as a risk taker and are able to cope with change. They adopt online and blended learning modes to take advantage of global learning opportunities. An educator who is autonomous reframes actions as a leader in global learning and develops interdependent, networked relationships for globally enhanced learning. Innovation. An educator who is innovative practices online global collaboration as the new normal. They design new collaborative models for learning within and beyond the classroom. They cultivate growth mindsets and global citizenship amongst learners. They construct new approaches and relationships to learning while social. An educator who is innovative focuses on processes as well as outcomes through design thinking and design cycle applications to global collaboration. And they understand and lead new ways of thinking and learning using digital technologies. So, if we remove the barrier of attitude, the phenomenon of online global collaboration then becomes the catalyst for disruptive approaches and new pedagogies. And the global collaborator mindset, adopting a global collaborator mindset as an educator, is a crucial step and crucial element in this process. So look, just to finish up this short presentation in support of the Global Collaboration Summit and in support of the ISTE Global Collaboration PLN, I'd just like to say what I often say is that, we need to learn with the world, not just about the world. We need to develop these lifelong and life-wide skills amongst our educators. We need to foster a global collaborator mindset. We need to then foster a global approach and global competency amongst our students. Digital technologies provide so many opportunities, and I see so many schools who are not grasping these opportunities through perhaps lack of understanding about how to do it, maybe even why to do it. But I think you would agree with me, the world is global, it is round, so let's look outside of our little round bubble and embrace new pedagogies, new approaches to teaching and learning that do join our students and our teachers with authentic learning experiences. So I'm Julie Lindsay. I'd love you to stay in contact with me, reach out to me, and let's talk more. And let's keep in the front of our mind the fact that the global collaborator mindset supports online global collaborative learning, and these are really important things to foster and be aware of and cultivate and implement in our learning environments. Thank you.